I'm Greg, a sailor, a bagpiper, and sort of an all-around jack of all trades. Boy, it's hot outside today. So anyway, quick update. I have the last coat of paint on this main saloon hatch. I have got the last coat of paint on these cockpit hatches. Now the next thing I need to do is, once it's all cured, I'm going to mask around the perimeter of these three and then paint and put down non-skid, because these cockpit hatches, I really want them to have a non-skid surface, so if you step into the cockpit, your feet don't go out from under you. But I want it to be the same color, so that's why I'm painting this with non-skid, painting it with the regular paint and then putting non-skid on top of it. So anyway, that I think is everything that's going on down here in the shop. Now let's go out and take a quick look at the boat and updates on things that have been going on with the boat. A friend of mine came over today and we worked in the really hot sun. Now the starboard tow rail is in place, but it's not fastened yet. And the port tow rail is down here, and that's all ready to go up on the boat. I'm putting it up on the boat just to get it back into shape. Now, this stern tow rail, you can see I've just masked around it. I've temporarily fastened it in, masked all the way around it, and now I'm going to put bedding compound on it and put that back in the boat. So we'll get the first of the tow rails on the boat. The cabin top, as we've talked about before, is all done. We've got the jam cleat fastened down again. I just put the new Dorade boxes in. Jim came over today and helped me get the bow pulpit and the bow cleats bedded and installed. I've still got to do the hawse pipes for the anchor chain, and then that is the water fill. And I have not done any of the stanchion bases yet, but that will be the next thing. So, looking at the boat, it's getting put back together again. Rather exciting. So I need to do a little bit of sanding and touch up on all of this trim on the cabin top, but at least I did the major sanding and one coat of sanding sealer before I painted the cabin house. The birds have been making a mess of the boat, but fortunately that will all, or should, clean up fairly easily. So let me get the caulking and let's see what we can do about getting this last aft tow rail installed. Now, before I put the caulking in place, I want to mask this tow rail so that when the caulking squeezes out, we'll be able to just run my finger along it, get a nice bead, and then we'll be able to peel it off and it won't be stuck all over the tow rail. So for me, this is rather exciting to think the first piece of tow rail is going back on the boat. And then, we're making great strides. And with the hatches done, the weather had not been cooperating. It was rainy and miserable for the longest time. And then all of a sudden, it went from rainy and miserable to 8,000 degrees. So it has not been that much fun working out here and trying to paint out here. I'm not going to be able to mask behind that because it'll be right behind the backstay and I will never be able to get the masking tape off. I did buy 2 new batteries for the boat. I just brought those out to the boat today. Now the tow rails are going down, I can start reinstalling the new running lights. And then, now that I have all of the tow rails, once I get the port tow rail back up on the boat, I can move the mast out and begin the process of remaking the mast. See if I can not fall off the boat. Gotta make sure I get a fair amount of caulking in this deck joint and around all the fastenings. And I think that should do it. Appears I have one extra screw. People might accuse me of having a screw loose. All right, so that is all the screw, almost all the screws. Okay, well, that's pulling it down nicely. Nice squeeze out there. Nice squeeze out there. A lot of nice squeeze out all along here. I see caulking everywhere. This little section is not getting sucked down as tightly as I'd like it to be. And I do know that this is where there was some damage to the stern. I may have dished it out just a little bit, but there is a bed of caulk all the way along. It hasn't completely squeezed out, but it's definitely there. So it might make sense for me to just to ensure that everything is completely sealed. Now, where'd my rag go? So I'm very disappointed. I was editing videos last night and discovered that there are a lot of videos that have no audio. Very frustrating. And I don't know why. And I'm hoping that this audio comes out. All right, that's all done. Can't pull that down any tighter than that. Yep. All right, I like that. Okay, that looks pretty darn awesome. Now, next thing, I will be right back. Okay, let's see how this goes. Try to get the grain going in the exact same direction. Last bung. And then tomorrow, after, oh, not the last bung, one more. Glad I just noticed that. There we go. Now, some people put bungs in with glue. I much prefer to put them in with just varnish, in this case the toerail by Sickens. Same product that I'm using as the finish, so it looks the same when it dries. The other thing about glue, if you need to remove a bung, it's really a lot harder to take it out if it's been glued in. If it's just been put in with the finish, as we had before, you can just drill it out and chip away the bung a lot easier. So anyway, tomorrow, when this finish has had a chance to harden, or actually it'll probably be Friday before I get out here again, I'll be able to take a nice sharp chisel, try to knock it off, and then lightly sand, and then just start putting a little bit of the toerail on top of all of these little bungs. I wanted to get this piece in first because when it comes time to put these in, they've got to butt up tightly to this. And so it makes sense to have this in place before we try to pull those in against it. And then there are chocks that go across that the stern lines can come in over. I'm really excited. Bow pulpit's in, stern pulpit is in, stern tow rail is in, cabin house is almost 100%. I have one porthole to put in, the port aft porthole. And then, I don't know, stanchion bases, tow rails, and I'm ready to start putting the final coat of finish on the decks, and then sand the cockpit and paint the cockpit, and then it's time to go in the water. I think all of the sanding all of these bungs and putting multiple coats of finish on top of them, I can do that while I'm in the water. So yeah, as soon as we get, hopefully in 2 weeks or so, I'll be ready for water. Well, 2 weeks, probably turn into a month. Maybe I'll be in before the summer's over. All right, well, anyway, I think that's it for today. You didn't get to see a lot of the projects because, putting the bow pulpit on, we basically, the process was similar to what I just did on the tow rail. We masked all the way around the stanchion bases, put the caulking in, put the pulpit and the screws in, and Jim was just sitting up here on the foredeck holding the screws, and I was, playing contortionist on my back, way up in there, accessing the underside of all of the fittings so that I could put all the nuts and bolts, washers and nuts on. And if I'd had the camera, you would have seen my feet sticking out, and that's about it. So no point in you watching all of that. So anyway, we're making progress with Slow Air. Hopefully she'll be getting in the water and then sailing the boat this summer. Next winter is the interior of the boat, because there's some stuff that desperately needs to be done here. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for following SV Slow Air. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps my channel. It doesn't cost you guys anything. And please hit the subscribe button so that you'll get updates as the new videos come out and we get the boat into the water. Thank you very much. Talk to you all soon.